Your head pounds as you stumble to the bathroom. That dizzy spell when you stood up? Your body just sent you a warning signal. These aren't just signs of aging. They're your brain's way of telling you something's wrong. New breakthroughs from leading research institutions now confirm that the habits you build in your first waking hour can slash your stroke risk significantly. Think of it as a scientifically backed blueprint for protecting your brain. We're counting down 8 powerful morning habits, starting with number 8, and building to the single most critical action that could save your life. If you believe your health is your most valuable possession, start by telling us in the comments which morning habit you already have locked down. Your journey begins with that one small step, and be sure to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. 1. Do you ever wake up with your heart already racing, like your body hit the panic button before your brain even turned on? That crushing weight in your chest isn't just morning grogginess. It's a flood of stress hormones slamming into your blood vessels the moment you open your eyes. Here's what most people don't realize. Your nervous system treats waking up like an emergency. Within seconds, cortisol and adrenaline surge through your bloodstream, jacking up your blood pressure and putting dangerous strain on your heart. But there's a simple way to hit the brakes on this chemical chaos. It's called the 4-7-8 breathing pattern, and it works like a reset button for your entire nervous system. A massive review of 36 scientific studies found this technique can drop your systolic blood pressure, that's the top number when they take your reading, by an average of 4 points. Think of it as immediately dialing down the pressure hammering against your artery walls. Here's exactly what to do. Sit on the edge of your bed. Breathe in slowly through your nose while counting to 4. Hold that breath for 7 counts. Then push all the air out through your mouth for 8 counts, making a whooshing sound. Do this 4 times total. That's it. In under 2 minutes, you've chemically interrupted the stress response that could otherwise spike your blood pressure for hours. Your heart rate slows. Your blood vessels relax. The morning anxiety that grips so many people simply melts away. But while this technique calms the storm inside your head, many people immediately sabotage themselves with 2 seemingly innocent morning rituals. These habits don't just undo all the good you just did, they multiply your stroke risk in ways that will shock you. 2. You just calmed your nervous system with breathing, but now comes the real test. 2 morning habits are about to sabotage everything you just accomplished, and most people have no idea they're playing Russian roulette with their brain. That first cigarette of the morning isn't just a bad habit. It's a biological weapon aimed directly at your blood vessels. Your body is already vulnerable from the natural morning blood pressure surge, and lighting up sends an immediate shock wave through your system. We're talking about a 10 to 15 point spike in blood pressure within minutes. Research tracking thousands of smokers found that this single morning ritual nearly doubles your stroke risk compared to smoking later in the day. The morning drink hits just as hard. Whether it's a shot of whiskey in your coffee or a beer with breakfast, alcohol during that first hour awake creates a perfect storm in your brain. Studies show morning drinking increases stroke odds by 60%. Your blood vessels are already under stress, and alcohol acts like a sledgehammer, causing dangerous fluctuations in blood flow to your brain. Here's the strategy that actually works. Delay. Don't deny. Push that first cigarette or drink back by exactly 1 hour. That's it. You're not quitting today. You're just moving the habit out of the danger zone when your body is most defenseless. This 1-hour delay gives your cardiovascular system time to stabilize after the morning surge. It's the difference between throwing a match into gasoline versus waiting for the fumes to clear. The same cigarette or drink becomes significantly less dangerous to your brain when your blood pressure has had time to settle. Your arteries need more than just avoiding damage, though. They need active protection, and there's a movement so simple it takes less time than brushing your teeth, but can add years to your life. 3. Here's what nobody tells you about exercise. You've been doing it wrong your entire life. Forget everything you think you know about working out. 10 minutes. That's all we're talking about. Not an hour at the gym, not until you're drenched in sweat. Not until your legs feel like jelly. Just 10 minutes of moving your body like you actually want to keep it. Scientists tracked people who did nothing but walk briskly for 10 minutes each morning. After months of this ridiculously simple routine, their neck arteries, the ones feeding blood straight to their brain, showed measurably thinner walls. Thinner walls mean healthier blood flow. Healthier blood flow means your brain gets what it needs. But here's the kicker. This isn't about burning calories or getting ripped. This is about waking up your blood vessels. Think of it like starting a car on a cold morning. You don't floor the gas pedal. You let the engine warm up gently. Your heart rate should barely budge. You should be able to chat with someone while you're doing this. If you're huffing and puffing, you're missing the point entirely. This is maintenance, not punishment. The magic happens in your arteries. That gentle movement creates just enough pressure to keep your blood vessel walls smooth and flexible. It's like running water through pipes to prevent them from getting clogged. You can walk around your house, do some light stretching, lift a couple of light weights. Dance to one song. The activity doesn't matter. The timing does. Your body is primed for this gentle wake-up call right after you get out of bed. But here's where most people blow it completely. What you eat in the 30 minutes after this movement will either multiply these benefits or destroy them entirely. 4. Your breakfast plate is either your best defense or your worst enemy. There's no middle ground here. Picture this. Researchers followed thousands of people for decades, watching what they ate every morning. The ones eating the typical American breakfast, sugary cereals, processed meats, white bread, had stroke rates that made doctors sick to their stomachs. But the people who built their plates differently, their numbers told a completely different story. Here's your blueprint. Start with steel-cut oats, not the instant garbage. Real oats take 5 minutes longer, but they won't spike your blood sugar like a rocket. Throw in a handful of walnuts. These aren't just nuts. They're packed with oils that keep your artery walls from getting stiff and brittle. Add sliced banana or kiwi. These fruits are potassium powerhouses, and potassium is like a bouncer for your blood pressure. It kicks out excess sodium before it can cause trouble. 1 egg, cooked in olive oil, gives you protein without the inflammatory mess that comes with bacon or sausage. This combination hits back at the high salt, low potassium disaster that most people call breakfast. Studies show that disaster diet cranks up stroke risk by 41%. Your new plate does the exact opposite. The beauty is in the simplicity. No exotic ingredients, no expensive supplements, no complicated recipes. Just real food doing what real food is supposed to do. protect you instead of slowly poisoning you. But before you take that first bite, there's something you need to drink. Something so basic you probably ignore it completely. Yet it has more immediate impact on your blood flow than anything else you'll consume all day. 5. Right now, while you're watching this, your blood is slowly turning into sludge. Every night for 7 to 8 hours, you don't drink a drop of water. But your body keeps working. Your heart pumps, your lungs breathe, you sweat into your sheets. All that moisture has to come from somewhere, and it comes straight out of your bloodstream. By morning, your blood has thickened by 7%. That's not a small change. Think of the difference between water and honey. That's the direction your blood moves overnight. Thick blood struggles to squeeze through your smallest vessels. It clumps together. It gets stuck. This is why more strokes happen between 6 and 10 in the morning than any other time of day. Your blood is at its thickest, moving at its slowest. Right when you're asking your body to wake up and get moving. The fix costs nothing and takes 30 seconds. Drink a big glass of warm water within 30 minutes of opening your eyes. Not coffee, not juice, not tea, just plain water. Make it warm, because cold water actually makes your blood vessels tighten up, which is the opposite of what you want. This isn't some wellness trend. Researchers measured people's blood before and after drinking that morning water. The thickness dropped. Blood pressure came down. Everything started flowing the way it should. Your circulatory system is like old plumbing. It needs a good flush to get everything moving smoothly. That first glass of water does exactly that. It dilutes the overnight sludge and gets your blood flowing like it's supposed to. But here's what most people don't know. If you're taking blood pressure medication, when you take it matters more than what you take. Get this timing wrong, and you're basically throwing your pills in the trash. 6. Most people pop their blood pressure pills like clockwork every morning, thinking they're doing everything right. But here's what your pharmacist probably never mentioned. You might be wasting half of that pill's power. Your medication isn't just sitting there waiting to work. It has a job to do, and that job has perfect timing. While you sleep, your body is already preparing for the cardiovascular chaos that hits every morning. Your blood pressure doesn't just wake up gently. It rockets upward like a launched missile. The biggest study ever done on medication timing followed over 19,000 people for more than 6 years. These weren't lab rats or computer models. These were real people taking real pills, and the researchers wanted to know one simple thing. Does it matter when you swallow that medication? The answer shocked everyone, including the doctors running the study. People who took their blood pressure medication at bedtime cut their stroke risk in half compared to people taking the exact same pills in the morning. Not 10% better, not 20% better, 50% better. Think about that for a second. Same person, same pill, same dose. The only difference was the clock on the wall when they swallowed it. That timing difference was more powerful than switching to a completely different medication. Here's why this works. Your blood pressure medication needs time to build up in your system before that morning surge hits. When you take it at bedtime, it's already locked and loaded, ready to fight that early morning spike. Take it in the morning, and you're basically showing up to a gunfight after the shooting has already started. The researchers called this chronotherapy, fancy word for taking your medicine when your body actually needs it most. Your cardiovascular system runs on a schedule, and your medication should too. Making this switch requires one conversation with your doctor and 0 new prescriptions. Same pills, different time. But the protection you get is like upgrading from a bicycle helmet to a full suit of armor. Your heart doesn't care what time zone you live in or what your work schedule looks like. It follows the same ancient rhythm that's been programmed into human beings for thousands of years. Work with that rhythm instead of against it. 7. You set 17 different alarms on your phone, but your body only needs one. The same wake-up time every single day. Most people treat weekends like a vacation from their own biology. Friday night hits and suddenly they're sleeping until noon, thinking they're doing themselves a favor. Your internal clock doesn't get weekends off. Inside your brain sits a cluster of cells smaller than a grain of rice. Scientists call it the suprachiasmatic nucleus, but think of it as your body's head conductor. This tiny maestro coordinates everything from when your heart beats fastest to when your liver processes toxins most efficiently. Wake up at different times and you're essentially firing that conductor and letting a bunch of drunk musicians play whatever they want. The result is biological chaos. Your morning cortisol release is supposed to be a gentle sunrise, not a lightning strike. When you wake up at random times, that hormone doesn't know when to show up for work. Sometimes it arrives early and jolts you awake at 3 in the morning. Sometimes it shows up late and leaves you groggy until lunch. Consistency trains that hormone to arrive exactly when you need it. A study tracking over 800 people found that those who woke up within 30 minutes of the same time every day had cortisol patterns that looked like smooth waves instead of jagged mountain peaks. Here's what that smooth wave does for your cardiovascular system. Instead of your blood pressure slamming against your artery walls like a battering ram, it rises gradually like a slow tide. That gentler morning transition can drop your peak blood pressure by 5 to 8 points without changing anything else about your routine. The magic number isn't 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep. It's 0 minutes of variation in your wake-up time. Your body would rather have 6 consistent hours than 8 random ones. Pick a time you can stick with 7 days a week. Not the time you wish you could wake up. Not the time that sounds impressive to other people. The time that actually works with your real life, including your worst Monday morning. Set that alarm for the same minute every day, and your body will start waking up before it goes off. That's not willpower. That's biology working the way it was designed to work. 8. You cannot feel the force that kills you. That's the trap. Every morning, whether you notice it or not, something happens inside your arteries. Picture a garden hose with someone slowly turning up the water pressure. Your blood vessels experience this same squeeze, and it peaks right after you wake up. Scientists have a fancy name for it, but what matters is this: that invisible morning pressure spike triples your stroke risk. You might feel tired, you might feel stressed, but you will never feel the exact moment when the pressure inside your arteries climbs high enough to be dangerous. It's completely silent. This is where a simple home blood pressure monitor becomes your early warning system. Not the kind of monitoring you do once a year at the doctor's office. Daily monitoring, every single morning, within an hour of waking up. Think of it as checking the weather before you leave the house, except you're checking the weather inside your own body. That little screen shows you exactly what's happening in your cardiovascular system right now, not what happened last month or what might happen next week. Here's why this matters more than everything else we've discussed. All those other habits we've covered, the stroke-proof breakfast, the medication timing, the consistent sleep schedule, how do you know if they're actually working? How can you tell if that morning routine is genuinely protecting you or just making you feel better about yourself? The numbers don't lie. That monitor becomes your scorecard. When you see your morning reading drop from 145/90 to 125/80 after 2 weeks of following the other habits, you know you're not just playing health games. You're saving your own life. Most people treat their blood pressure like their credit score. They check it once in a while, hope it's good, and forget about it until someone forces them to look again. But your blood pressure changes every day, sometimes every hour. Yesterday's reading tells you nothing about this morning's risk. The monitor costs less than a nice dinner out. The habit takes 60 seconds. The information it gives you is worth everything. Start tomorrow morning. See your numbers. Know your risk. Take back control from the invisible force that's been making decisions about your health without asking your permission. Which habit will you start with? Tell me in the comments. Your choice today determines your health tomorrow.